Welcome to COSM's mindfulness-based SEL micro-credential program, foundational learning module with me, Khayree Bey. Today we're going to get into developing self-awareness of our thoughts. So let's get right in. Our objectives today are going to cover three. The triangle or circle of awareness. Number two, the nature of our thoughts. And lastly, creating a kind relationship with our thoughts. All right, so first off, let's get into this a moment of awareness. Now, I like to use the circle of awareness instead of the triangle. The difference between the two is a lot of times when you see the circle instead of the circle includes breathing as one of the points of the circle, where in the triangle, it's thoughts, body sensations, and emotions. The way that I do it in my class is we kind of use it as a shield. So you have your two staffs, and your one staff is your own personal coping mechanism when tough times come around, and that stands for staff. And staff means stop, take a breath, analyze the situation, focus on that shield of knowledge of self, is like we like to call it in my class, where you check in first. You're putting a little bit of space between whatever the trigger is or the stimuli that's out there that caused you to have a response or reaction. And I'll get into that in just a moment. So when they have their shield, the shield has four components. The top being take that deep abdominal breath when you are feeling that anxiety, the beginnings of fight or flight. From there, you drop down to the bottom of it. And I say that one is body sensations. How is your body feeling at this moment? While all the time still practicing that deep abdominal breathing. Next, you would go over to your thoughts. What thoughts are now starting to come up because of this trigger? From there, you're checking back in with your breath. Again, now you're moving to the other side of your shield of knowledge, and that takes you over to your emotions. So you're checking in with your body sensations, taking a breath, checking in with your thoughts, continuing to breathe, lastly, checking in with your emotions, and then going back to that breath each time you kind of cycle through these. And that kind of gives you that space between what your trigger is and what your response rather than your reaction. Because we know that when you respond, you're kind of using that cognitive part of your brain instead of using your instincts and emotions when you react. So it's just one of the techniques that I use to teach my students how to deal in those tough times. Next, we kind of just got into the space between stimulus and your response versus your reaction. And again, checking in with your physical sensations, checking in with your thoughts, and then checking in with your emotions, all the while maintaining that deep breath, that deep, slow, gentle breathing that again gives you a little bit of space between your response instead of just reacting. This is something that my students find a very good tool. You know what I mean? They're at that age in middle school where, they say the hormones and this, that, and the third are running through their body. Well, it's running through all our bodies, but it's what it is. As an adult, your brain is a little bit more, not a little bit, but a lot more developed, where in middle school, their brains, those synapses, those neuron connections, neural pathways, they're still kind of new to them. And what we're trying to do is give them those extra skills so that they can meet their goals, needs, and wants. All right, so let's move on to the next. The nature of our thoughts. You got to remember, your thoughts are just mental cognition. It's you kind of going over what's happened in the past, what you've seen, what you've experienced, and sometimes those thoughts can be positive or negative in your everyday existence. We deal a lot in our thoughts when it comes to the past. It's what our foundations are kind of laid upon, what we've been through. And sometimes it's hard to escape the different things that have happened in the past. And that's where living in the present will give a little bit of ease to that. We're going to get into the thoughts and their lack of power. One of my students always is like, Mr. Bey, you do not allow your thoughts uh, to dictate who you are. And he says this because I always say to them, I'm like, you are not your thoughts. I am not my thoughts. Your thoughts can be something that just tears you down, and the person next to you wouldn't even know. You could have thoughts about the past, which you cannot change, having thoughts about the future, which you can only practice for. You can't really predict exactly what's going to happen in the future. Believe me, I'm a middle school teacher and I plan a lot. And when you go in there, it doesn't always go the way that you planned. So you can prepare, and when you prepare for the unknown a lot of times also. Um, Again, your thoughts are powerless unless you bring them to fruition, unless you make those thoughts into something. Everything around us was created by a thought, but there was many a thoughts that were never used, and many a thoughts that actually really had no power except for when the person that allowed those ruminating thoughts to kind of control their moods and emotions and thoughts and body sensations. Um, so again, to reiterate, you are not your thoughts. And that should be liberating and also a relief to you, along with no different than it is for my students here. Lastly, we're going to do this where, again, and I stress this again, you are not your thoughts. And that is the foundation of mindfulness is your thoughts do not have to control you. They do not have to saddle you. You can allow those thoughts to pass through, just like a train at a train station, a bus at a bus station, airplanes as they come and go at airports. You can, unless you give those thoughts power, they are powerless. Uh, Stop taking your thoughts so seriously. And again, that goes back to you are not your thoughts. And you have the ability to allow those thoughts to come in, identify them, uh, being non judgmental. You're aware of them. You are accepting of what they are. And then you let them pass and keep moving. And then we're going to do a practice at the end here. Lastly, thoughts can make good servants, not great masters. And again, using your thoughts and taking that power back and not allowing those ruminating thoughts to control you and saddle you down. And the last thing we're going to do our practice. This is straight out of one of the Focus Fives. So I'm going to have you stand up tall, maybe even if you're sitting, aligning your head, neck, and spine. From here, if you are comfortable, I ask you to close your eyes. If not, lower your gaze to something a little bit below eye level so that you can concentrate a little bit easier. I want you to take a deep breath in. Now, since we're going to be focusing here, I want you to, first off, do the abdominal breath. So when you abdominally breathe, we're going to do it in the four phases here. One is the inhale, holding it, then exhaling. Again, pause. And then starting that process again. And I like to do that 4 times. Then after that, I also do your breathing into your abdomen area. And as you inhale, you can feel it in your ribs. And then you can feel it up into your shoulder, your chest area up here, the clavicle. This allows you to focus again and kind of get away from just those ruminating thoughts because you're using your breath as something to focus on. So let's try this. We're going to inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And now go back to breathing on your own, kind of noticing as you progress in your breathing, as it travels, the movement kind of travels from your abdomen to your ribs, to your chest, clavicle area. And as you exhale, kind of reversing clavicle, rib, abdomen area. Do that about 3, 4 times on your own. Now, as you are breathing, kind of focusing on the sensations that you feel throughout your body, kind of loosening up any tension you may be feeling, maybe in your legs, thigh, maybe in your hands, maybe even your shoulders. Kind of letting go of any tension. Kind of really feel yourself sitting in the chair, and the chair maintaining your weight, maintaining you, allowing you to sit there and just letting the chair take full possession of your weight as you sit there, kind of focusing in. Now, as you're doing this, thoughts are going to come in. And just like I said earlier, kind of using your mind as a bus station, train station, the airport, as these planes, thoughts come through, acknowledging them without judgment, being accepting, gentle, and forgiving, and allowing those thoughts to go, and going back and focusing on you, your body sensations, feeling the sensations of the oxygen coming in and carbon dioxide being exhaled out. Now, when you're ready, take one last deep breath, and I want you to hold it and then sigh it out. And if you haven't already, kind of blinking your eyes a few times, maybe doing the three planes of movement, left and right, forward and back, and maybe a little twist. And again, doing this at your own speed, being gentle, kind of using this as self care. And thank you for participating in this micro credential. My resources are here. Again, thank you for your time, and see you on our next micro credential foundational learning. You have a great day.